Welcome back to my podcast. Okay, y'all. Listen, I have did that every episode so far, so I feel like that's like my unofficial official tag at this point. So I feel like I gotta do it, right? So welcome back to my podcast reviewed by Top Chef Tammie. That's me. Where I review books and make suggestions for you guys to read, right? Okay, so this is actually the questions and discussions episode of the books that we did last week, which was The Brazzi Family, A Dark Mafia Romance by Jatoria C. And he exposed me to Real and Now I Hate Lanes by Nasadia. We are going to jump right into those books because that's all we do around here is read and discuss books. That's it. I'm excited though because I do got a lot of stuff I gotta say. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it like that, and then we just gonna jump. All right, so jumping into the Brazzi Family, A Dark Mafia Romance by Jatoria C. Our two main characters were Navy and Marley. So again, guys, I love the names because both of them got unisex names. So Navy is the guy and then Marley is the girl. So as I mentioned before, Navy is Nazy Brazzi, and so he is the chief of police, and the Brazzi family is his family. And then Marley is going to be the girl, and she is our love interest. She is a detective that works with maybe at the police department or whatever. So we start the story off, and the story is kind of give you like an overview of like the Brazzi family, who they are. Like I told you, they run everything in the city. So it's just like that little introduction or whatever like that. So this book, because of the way that it was wrote, I didn't have too many questions, but I have a lot of discussion notes. Okay, so I'm not gonna be like, we're not gonna do too many questions. I think the questions kind of more so come at the end for me, but in the beginning, it was just kind of discussions of like kind of what I think and what was like my takes on certain situations in the book. All right, and so like starting out the book, I found it kind of weird that, like I said, the Brazzi family, they hold all these high positions of power in the town, but then when Navy went to dinner with his family, like nobody was discussing the serial killer. So I'm just like, it wasn't a killer. I feel like the book in the beginning made it like another body, but then it was just like later on in the book it wasn't. But I don't want to skip ahead. Okay, so that was just like one thing that kind of made me like sad out of family a little bit because it was like, why are we not talking about this? Okay, all right. So Navy and Marley, like I said, they work together at the police department. The next scene, kind of like after the dinner with the family, this is like Marley's scene now that we jump into like more like a Marley point of view of the story at this point. You kind of, it's like the setup of them hating each other, right? Because they just can't go into the book loving each other, right? So it's the setup of it kind of give you the backstory of her meeting him for the first time. Like I said, because who his family is, she called him like a nepo baby. Just because she believed like he got his position of power be through his family or whatever like that. Okay, so they go back and forth, making little smart comments, whatever to each other, and they don't like each other in the beginning of the book, right? Okay. So then, like, moving on, we're still in Marley. We get to know Marley. The other thing that's going on with Marley is her partner. His name is Steve, and I want to mention, just because I want to put the picture in, he looks like Chris Brown. So they say Steve looks like Chris Brown, but he's like a little bit buffer. He's a police officer, and he's Marley's partner. Very early on in the book, Steve makes it known that he is attracted to Marley and he like her. So Marley's like always shutting him down. No, no, no. She don't want to be with him. She don't want to talk to him. It's unprofessional, whatever. Okay, moving on. Okay. So then they get called out to a murder scene, and it's somebody that's murdered. I don't want to give away too many plots of the book. Okay, but I will tell you, we have a plot that's going on in the book where we have a serial killer, and then we're going to have like the love story. So they're going to be dual, right? Okay. So, and because they're police officers, that only makes sense, right? Everybody's police and law enforcement. Okay. So they get called out to the police scene. Like, this is the first murder in the book. This is like the setup for the case that they're going to be working or whatever like that. But after they get back from the scene, because like I said, I'm not giving you guys too many details because you still have to read the book. Even if you haven't read the book at this point or you're not finished with the book, I don't want to spoil it for you, okay? So they get back from the scene, and I see that, but I'm about to tell you some stuff. I'm laughing because I'm like, I don't want to tell you some stuff, everything, but I'm about to tell you some stuff. But yeah, so they get back from the scene or whatever like that, and then so this is like the first little snowball that's going to snowball into something bigger. But Marley receives a note from the Aborto Slasher, is what he names himself, and basically he's like, one person killed today, it's going to be some more people, it's going to be some more bloodshed, and then it's just going to be me and you. And the letter kind of makes it like he intends to kill her after he has like finished his killing spree. Right? So y'all didn't know that last week when I read Chopper's summary in the book. Y'all didn't know we was jumping to a murder mystery. I didn't either. Instead of dark romance, I didn't know we were doing murder mystery. It's okay. It's okay. So yes, so that sets it up. So now we have the killer, we have the serial killer, and then he's also at the Marley, which sets up our plot, and it basically, now because her life is in danger, Navy, who is the captain, he's basically like, since you are in danger, you need to roll with me. You're gonna be working cases with me. I'm gonna take you home. I'm gonna bring you to work, and I'm gonna protect you. He don't like her. He don't like her yet or whatever, but just more so in the like, this is his family town, this is his duty. So he gonna do it. Or do he like her? Right? Because, okay, do he like her? And he was just friend, right? I was just friend. You know I want you, baby. Right, okay. So yeah, so that sets it up so where now our love interest, they have to work closely together. So you know what's gonna happen or whatever at that point. All right. And then like moving on to the next part in the story. Now I did have a question right here, and it said, did Steve know Navy liked Marley? And that was my question because for two reasons. Steve likes Marley, and he is going to be like absolutely not with them being together and him and Navy protecting Marley. Steve feel like he could have did it. And then also at the other like made me do that moment was, a man can usually tell when another man likes you. So I feel like that was what Steve's issue was. I feel like he kind of could tell that Navy liked Marley, and by him liking her too, it was really like causing conflict or whatever like that. So Steve was like on an emotional roller coaster, right? Okay. And then I say all that to say, because my next note is, Navy didn't waste any time flirting with Marley. Now, we done had all this set up of how they don't like each other. They call each other out their name, and they're joking in a kind of sort of joking way, but they don't like each other. But it was like the first day of him protecting or doing whatever he should call himself doing with her, or whatever like that. He started flirting with her. Like, he sent the text message at the end of the night and was like, oh yeah, dream about me. And hopefully the dream get your panties wet. And I'm like, now y'all know I'm here for the spicy stuff, but I'm just like, boy, did we get here quickly, okay? So it kind of was like he opened that door just a teensy bit or whatever like that. So this is kind of where that relationship starts to develop, because now I guess for her, she's like looking at it a different way. It's like once that man put that interest out there, then you kind of start to ponder like, So that starts it off. Then the next event in the story is Steve's father get killed and by the slasher. So with that, my next question was, what did the victims have in common? Because with the first victim, I didn't give you guys too much details with her, but I'll give it to you now. So her name was Amanda, and she had 4 foster kids, and she got killed. And now Steve's father, who is a pastor, he is murdered. So we like, what is going on at this point in the story? And we all watch SVU, so, and Law and Order, so it's like, what do the victims have in common? Why is the killer killing these people, right? So that was my question. I'm like, okay, what do they got in common? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But it was a good note to put in the book, and it was just like something to keep my eye on at that point. This sends Steve, though, on like more of an emotional roller coaster. He calls Marley like a harlot. He tells her like she's basically like getting close to Navy for the money, and he goes just on this big spiel of emotions, and he's just very not nice to her at this point. And it's just like after his father died, so we kind of like brushed it a little bit under the rug, okay? And Marley did, so like, but it's still something to keep an eye on, okay? Okay, so then like the next big event in the story was Navy then goes to invite Marley to this gala that his family is having. Again, so now we strike number 2 with Navy kind of showing his feelings for Marley, because then you was just flirting. Now you like, oh, go to the gala with me, and Marley, she said yeah, and she go, and he sent her clothes. She looks really pretty. They have like this magical kiss at the dance. Like the connection is there. The connection is there. Okay, so the end of the night in, and they go to drop Marley home or whatever like that. And so Marley goes to the door. She goes in her house. And what do you know? Not Steve, y'all. Not Steve. Marley ex is sitting in her living room. Now, the ex, his name is Leon. They don't tell us how he looks, but his name is Leon. And he does not live in the city anymore. So he lives in another state, and it's no way that he should be here. But his excuse was that he signs up for the local paper from the town that Marley lives in, and he's seen that they posted in the newspaper that it's a serial killer, and he's also targeting Marley, and he's like worried about her, so he pops up or whatever like that. But her and Leon got bad blood, so it's no way like that he should be there or whatever like that, right? Anyway, she's kind of getting creeped out, but right in the middle of her like getting creeped out, Navy pops back up, beat Leon ass, right? Drags him out, tell his driver like, take this dude to the airport. He best to get on the plane, never show his face around here no more, or I'ma kill him. Yeah, he said I'ma kill him. I'm gonna kill him if he don't leave town. He told him, matter of fact, he told him he got 3 hours to leave town, and he better not show his face around here no more, right? The energy now. So now we got 1, 2, 3 strikes. Maybe to show his hand that he likes Marley at this point, okay? So we do away with Leon or whatever like that for the night, and then wait. I jumped in here because I want to tell y'all the next part. My question was at that point is, do we trust Leon? Because Leon just pops out of nowhere, and it is her ex, but it's like she has a serial killer after her. So at this moment, it's like everybody is under suspicion for me. And then plus now Navy didn't beat his ass or whatever like that. So now if he is on our list of potential slasher. He is on our list of potential killers or whatever like that. And then maybe beating his ass don't make it no better or whatever like that. So my little note said, did we trust Leon? I did not trust Leon. I definitely did not trust Leon. So yeah, I just want to put that out there. I didn't trust him or whatever like that. Okay. And then I was doing my little happy dance. doing my little happy dance because Marley and Navy have sex after that. And baby, it's hot, it's passionate, it's steamy, it's nasty, it's just everything. I know y'all like the spicy stuff because that's why we read these books, for the spicy stuff. So yes, the spicy stuff was definitely spicy. Okay, it was definitely spicy. But yeah, so now it's like now everybody feelings is on the table or whatever like that. So now we officially know that Navy likes Marley, Marley likes Navy, sitting in the tree, chaos, whatever, right? And then we also know that his official serial killer he's at the Marley. And our suspects at this point for me was Steve and Leon. So that's who I'm keeping my eye on or whatever like that. Alrighty. I have another little note here, and it says after Marley and Navy has sex, to me, it seemed like all hell breaks loose at that point. Like the cat is out the bag, okay? The cat is out the bag after this because the next scene, I'm trying to figure out how to tell y'all, but I don't. Like I said, I want to keep it just a little mysterious, a little bit. But the next scene, we found out who the killer is. Who y'all think it was? Navy! Y'all, Navy is the goddamn killer. Navy is the slasher. So I'm not gonna tell y'all too. So Navy is the slasher. Basically, he gets Marley over to Steve's house. Steve is dead, and Navy is sitting there looking crazy. And basically, he confessed to her like he's the killer, and he confessed the reason why he killed the people that he killed. And that part I will not tell you guys. I will leave that for you guys to figure it out in the book and read the book and make your own assumptions and see if you guys are right. But I won't tell you why he killed those people. But he's the damn killer. So he tell Marley like he's the killer, why he killed them. And then this is the twist for me. He tells Marley he intended to set her up for the murders. And now he's decided to change his mind though. Now he's not going to set her up for the murders. Okay. He then proceeds to tell Marley that she must marry him under some very crazy circumstances. I won't tell you guys the circumstances, but I will let you guys figure that out when you read the book, if you read the book. Marley is kind of like handcuffed at this point because she don't have no choice but to kind of go through because what he's hanging over her head, not just putting the murders on her, but something else. So she goes through to marry him. But my next question was, could Marley try harder to get out of the marriage to me? Because she was a detective. And I just feel like she kind of could have maybe tried. I don't know. I feel like she could have tried a little bit harder to me. But she went ahead along with it. And she married him. So the other question that I had to ask myself in this book now, because of where we are, because they did share like some really like deep feelings and intimate moments with the sex and everything leading up to it or whatever. I know it sounds like we're still in the beginning of the book, but we are very well like hitting 60-70% mark at this point. So I had to ask the question, do we see Marley like generally falling for Navy? Because even though he has confessed at this point to being a killer, it's been like a lot of groundwork between them on building emotions or whatever like that. But I'm just like, I couldn't see it. I couldn't see her genuinely falling for him because you're a police officer. So it's kind of like that taboo thing. Like, if you're a police officer, you shouldn't be falling for criminals. If you're the lawyer, you shouldn't be messing with your client. It's kind of like, if you're a professional, you shouldn't be mixing illegals with you know what I'm saying? So, but he was the police sheriff. I mean, he was the police sergeant or whatever like that. So I don't know. But yeah, that made me question, like, do we see them genuinely being together? And because can we forget his indiscretions at this point? Because he did explain why he killed the people, and it was legitimate. So it's like, can we kind of turn a blind eye to that? Or because he's so crazy about this and the marriage stuff, can we not? But I'm gonna let y'all figure that part out on your own. But yeah, to answer my question, for the sake of it being a book, I'm like, yeah, she could fall for him. But in reality, in real life, like, I couldn't see it. I couldn't see it or whatever. So yeah, like, moving on. Okay. After the wedding, they get married or whatever like that. Marty fell asleep in the car, and I mentioned that because it's like that question that I just had before was like, can she genuinely like fall for him? And I guess she could, because if you could go to sleep around a serial killer, you could probably fall in love with one. But the other side of her falling asleep like in the car and being a little groggy when she wake up from the wedding is she wakes up and she is fucking in a jail cell, in a makeshift jail cell inside Navy House. Navy is stone cold crazy, y'all. Like, he is stone cold crazy, right? Because why? She married you. She fell asleep around you. She kind of giving you all the signs like she kind of cool with this, and then you put her in a jail cell. So like I said, we was around about 70. Now we're probably like 80% of this book or whatever at this point. My question at this point was, how crazy is Navy locking Marley up, but still admiring her via the cameras? Because he's going to be watching her, like, on some stalker stuff. He is crazy. I just told y'all he is crazy. So I kind of told y'all he was crazy because I'm flashing back on the book. And I told y'all he was crazy before I even got to this question. But he is like nuts. Okay? While she is in this jail cell, he starves her for food so that she can do sex with him. First it was like masturbation, then it was like full-blown sex. But even after these like two incidents, he's in these incidences like during the course of like a week and a half. So this ain't like 1 day, 2 days. He's starving her to have sex, and it's like 2 weeks. And after that, he still does not take her out the cell. Like, he still got her in the jail cell. And he still got her, like I said, he still got her in the jail cell. And this was the point on the book. I'm gonna break off from the book a little bit and then like flashback to my review last week. This was the part of the book where that I told you guys I didn't like, because it was very like toxic, emotional, physical coercion for sex and manipulation. And it's not good to me. Like, I get it's called like a dark romance, but this is not like, I guess, I don't know. I don't consider this dark. I feel like this is kind of past dark to me, because this was like torture. He's like torturing her, and he's like coercing sex from her, like starving her for food, so that he can get sex from her. Like, that's a different type of dark to me. So that's why, like, last week I was telling you guys that I was going to circle back to that to just like make clarifications once we got to the book. Just go a little bit deeper into that. I didn't like that. I didn't like it. And then on top of that, I feel like he took it too far, because he left her there and she was there for a while. So like I said, about 2 weeks, in the span of like 2 weeks, he starved her and she had sex with him, and then she masturbated for him. And it was like he still wouldn't let her go. Now I feel like if the author probably maybe would have did it once and then kind of like, okay, that one time, and then they started they like good love story at that point, then that would have been like, okay, one thing. But it was like, to me, it was like almost beating a dead horse. It just like gets worse. So after she do the sex acts for food, she wakes up, he leaves, she wakes up, and he has recording playing because like I told you, she's in the cell, it's cameras or whatever, but he has this recording playing, and it's saying Marley loves Navy. And he plays the recording for like over 24 hours straight, and it's sending her crazy. So like, this is like psychological warfare. So this is what they do to people when they're torturing them, and they have like, they're trying to break like prisoners of war. Like, this is not sweet. This is not something a man that loves you should do to you. So this is like I was saying again, to touch on my review last week, this is the part of the book, like I was telling y'all, I didn't like. It was just too much. If he would have did like maybe 2 days starving her, the masturbation thing, and then like let her out of the jail cell, I would have been like, it was crazy, but okay, we moved past it. But it was like he kept her there. So now she like hearing this recording, and I can't remember at this moment like how long it was, but it was over 24 hours at this point. So like, it was torture. It was straight like torture to her or whatever. Eventually she gets out. She gets out. She don't break out. He lets her out or whatever like that. And but while she's there, he's kind of like going back and forth with his feelings for her. He don't even know like he loves her. He's like messed up. Like I told you, he's like crazy. This is not romantic to me at all. So like I said, the sex again was very spicy between them. They have a lot of chemistry. Those parts were really good. If you block out what that means, say it makes sense if you don't think about it. The sex makes sense if you don't think about the other stuff. The sex scenes was spicy. It was there. Like I said, then he played the audio. It was kind of like torture. And then that's kind of like what my notes in at that point in the book, it probably was about maybe like 20% more of the book. And then I didn't want to kind of go through all of that with you guys. So I skipped to my last question was, did you see the ending coming? Did you see the ending coming? Because I want to say something for y'all to discover on your own. So did you see the ending coming? My answer to that was no. I did not see the ending coming. This book took us on a lot of ups and downs, or it took me on a lot of ups and downs emotionally. I didn't see this ending. A little bit of the ending happening, I did see coming, but I didn't. And yeah, that was it. Again, that was The Bozzi Family, A Dark Mafia Romance by Jatoria C. Now, last week, remember, you guys, I mentioned that it was a part 2 of this book, and I was going to read part 2 because I gave the book a 3.5, and I wanted to read part 2 to see if I could see any character development and growth from the situation that happened with him, like locking her in the jail cell. Because like I said, it was a little bit much for me. But when I started reading book 2, I stopped, y'all. So I stopped because I just didn't feel like it was going to give character development for Navy. It was kind of like picking up where we left off. They gave us this great setup at the end of book 1. It was like, I kind of don't want to give it to y'all all the way. But starting book 2, I feel like it was not going to be any character development on the parts that I had an issue with. So I felt at this point it wasn't for me. It wasn't for me. So I'm going to stick with the 3.5 for A Bozzi Family, A Dark Mafia Romance. And that will be the end of me reading that book. I think you guys, like I said, it was a little heavy at the end for me. But the on the other side of this is I actually spoke with somebody who read this book and they love the book. They love the book. So at the end of the day, I do feel like I would suggest this book, but I will also put, like, I think I put those in my trigger warnings. I would just say be very prepared for the trigger warnings. These trigger warnings was too much for me. And that's why we do the trigger warnings. By me being a reviewer, I didn't get the trigger warnings. I had to just go on and read the book or whatever like that. And that's fine. I'm not tripping. That's what I signed up to do. But yeah, so with the trigger warnings, I feel like it was a little too heavy for me. I didn't feel like it was going to be any character development in book 2 from Navy. I don't feel like we was going to address that in crazy, insane behavior. Maybe it did. And I just didn't give it a chance. But I just feel like this wasn't for me with the trigger warnings. Now, if you could get past the trigger warnings and you feel like you want to see, absolutely, because I do recommend this book. It was able to draw me in. It was able to leave me with some surprises. It was enough to make me care about the characters, and it was enough to make me finish the story. So, I mean, I do recommend this book, but I'm just like, personally, I'm just not going to read part 2. So, Brazzi Family, a dark mafia romance by Jatoria C. The review, I recommend you, girl. This all love. Moving into part 2 of today's book club questions and discussions. Part of this episode was He Exposed Me to Real and Now I Hate Lanes by Natalia. Y'all know this one was my favorite. This one was my favorite. Listen, now I can go dive a little bit deeper, because sometimes when I be giving the reviews, I can't really tell y'all everything, because then I'll be giving too much away at that point, because the review is just to give you an overview of the book so that you can see if you want to read it or not. So I don't be wanting to give stuff away that I give away in questions and discussions. But this is my book. Like, the book days in this book was fine. Okay? So let's get to talking about them. So 2 book days in this one. Like, we had 2 sexy guys, and I want to say kind of pushing 3. So let's talk about it. Okay, so Quenya, he was the main character. Absolutely, book day. That was the main one. That make my body. Okay, y'all. I'm being bad. Let me be good. Okay, and then the other book day to me was Bishop. Bishop was book day. So that's just like a little foresight before we jump in the book. So let me tell you guys who the characters were. So again, we had Ashanta. So starting the book, you know, Ashanta was a doctor or whatever like that. We had Deimos, aka Bullet, who was her husband, living a double life, if you read the book. And then we had Quenya. Then we get a little bit of Chastity, we get Desi, and then 2, we get Bishop, we get Rakita, and then we get Chaos. And then I want to say we get a couple more other characters, but that was it. So that's the breakdown of the characters of the people who we're going to be talking about. This book, like I told you guys, was a reread, and I read it a while ago. And like I say, it really stuck with me. The title actually stuck with me too. Like, sometimes I tell myself I got a bad memory, but this book and the title, it stuck with me. And so I was like, had to be one of those books that I just had to bring to the podcast, because it was very memorable for me. Like, I know I was reading this book and I probably was in there snickering and ooh and doing all of those things that just gave me that certain type of feeling where I felt like this was a book that I wanted to pass on to people and I wanted to tell people about. And that's why, even though the book is kind of older, that's why I brought it back. Jumping right in, so He Exposed Me to Real and Now I Hate Lanes by Natalia. I gave this book a 4.5. I gave this book a 4.5, and it was nothing in the book that I couldn't tell you last week or why I gave it a 4.5. So you guys are pretty aware that I gave it a 4.5, just because the story got a little bit long. And now, since we're going to do questions and discussions, when we get to the part where I feel like the book should have cut off, I'm going to tell you at that point. We still going to discuss further, but I'm going to tell you at that point where I feel like the author should have, what she should have did. Okay. Okay. So jumping right into the book, we start the book out, like I said, with Ashanta, who's a doctor, and her husband, Deimos, and they like he's an ex-con. We was just talking about the doggone police sergeant and him being crazy and the killer, and now, and I just told y'all how I feel like I don't believe professional people should be with like ex-cons. Oh, don't hate me for that one, but it happens because it happens. It happens. I'm not judging. I'm just not. I'm not judging. But that you know what? Sometimes it seems like the two books that I pick or the three books that I pick, it seems like they be having a theme a little bit. And it'd be unintentional. But okay, so yeah, so Ashanta being a doctor and Deimos, aka Bullet, her ex-husband is a ex-con. Ooh, and it's one of those moments I get to insert a picture. They say he looked like Jim Jones. And well, I think y'all know what Jim Jones looked like. But I'm gonna just put the picture out there anyway. Right? Yeah, he cute. He cute. Starting out in the beginning of the book, it don't be like a lot of questions because it be like the just the introduction of the character. So you know, it started out they kind of like presenting themselves as like the perfect couple, but then like I think I said, shit go to hell real quick because she jumped right in and she starts to describe herself, and she is like she been mistaken for a transgender. She is skinny and she has like body dysmorphia a little bit. And I don't say that, but I feel like she do because she's like being gaslit by her husband. So it gives the impression like they got this perfect marriage, but then he's gaslighting her to tell her like, oh, she needs to stay skinny, she's too fat for him, and all of these things. So she's doing it, and she like people mistake her for a transgender. So I guess she like real flat in the front and the back or whatever like that, and like I said, he's gaslighting the shit out of her or whatever like that. But at the same time, he's telling her like he likes her being skinny. But is that no? That's not gaslighting. That's manipulation. Because he's manipulating her to be skinny or whatever like that, telling her he like it. But low key, he actually will probably like her to gain weight, and he's keeping her skinny to be unattractive to her because he's living a double life. Jumping into the book, like this how it goes. Like I just said, it goes down quick because they give us like two great paragraphs of like their relationship, and then after that, not exaggerating, it goes down quick. So yeah. Then it goes on to talk about how they haven't had sex in 2 months, and then we get to Deimos' introduction of the book, and he's like living a secret life with Chastity, and this is the most important part because I think this was like the gaslighting and the manipulation. When he gets to his double life, he described this woman as, you know, like big booty, nice shape, all of this. So he's keeping Ashanta like skinny so that he can be unattractive to her, but then he got the big booty girlfriend over here. And then it just kind of relates back to like real life men to tell you like, oh, don't worry about XYZ, and whole time they like XYZ. And I want to say some real life stuff right now because something really big has happened in the news right now with some leaked phone calls that kind of relate to this. But you know, we stay away from celebrity gossip around here. So anyway, yeah, men they throw dirt on your name, and the whole time they be admiring you, whatever. Or the whole time they be telling you they don't like a certain thing, and then they be liking it. Okay, so like moving on. Then we get Chastity's introduction to the story, and we found out very quickly that Chastity is playing in Ashanta's face. Ashanta is a doctor. She's a kid's doctor. Chastity got kids, and she is Deimos, aka Bullet, side chick. She is taking her babies to the doctor. She's taking her baby to the doctor's office to see Ashanta as his primary care physician, and this is the girl's husband's baby. then the baby and Ashanta got the same last name because Ashanta is married to Deimos. So Ashanta's like, oh, I always thought it was so coincidental that we share the same last name. I don't know. I feel like living in today's world, the world that we live in, if a coincidence like that happened, and y'all know how women likes to be messy and play around, it's like you got to do a little bit of investigating. But I guess she was a little green or whatever like that, so she let it rock. Whatever. Okay. Then we get to Quinya's introduction chapter. And so he's at the bakery, Shanta come in, and do you guys like him? We liked him right from the gate, right? Because he just gave big dick energy. He was like, let's go out on a date. She like, I'm married. He like, so? Okay. I don't think I would have said okay that fast. You know what I'm saying? But when your man is lacking the way like the Deimos was and making her feel bad and all this other things, you leave that door open like, to come in and make your girl feel good. You know what I'm saying? So it was like Quinya came with the energy and Ashanta was kind of like a little impressionable. I want to say she said no, or she kind of tried to avoid it at this point. But like I said, for me, I'd have been like, he's a goner. I'm just being. Oh no, right here. It says Deimos is mentally abusing and manipulating Ashanta because all the things that we just said. I feel like at this point, I probably just needed to read a little bit more before I actually stood on that statement. But I gave it to you guys a little bit early because I knew at that point or whatever like that. This is a question right here. Is Deimos having sex with Desi Chastity's karma? But they had a threesome before, so was it okay? So at this point in the book, Deimos is with Desi, and I think he didn't have sex with her, so that's what prompted me to write this question. But he is Chastity's man, and that he is having sex with her friend. So I say, the question was that Chastity's karma? Because it's like you playing in Ashanta's face. You know what his situation is with Ashanta, and you like he ha ha. The whole time your best friend got a he ha ha on you because she having sex with Deimos. Was that the karma? So I do kind of feel like that was her karma, just a smidget. But I also feel like she kind of opened the door because originally they all had a threesome together or whatever like that. And they were all strangers. So they had the threesome and then Deimos ended up being with Chastity. It wasn't like they had the relationship first and then they had the threesome. So, yeah. I think that's the way a threesome should go if you was going to have one. Like everybody should be strangers. It shouldn't be couples. But they messed it up and turned it into a couple thing. I digress because that's a conversation for, I guess, another book, another day, another story. Alrighty. I'm moving on. Alright, so at this point we had a new character popping up in the book and it was Rakita. So I want to say, did we trust Rakita at this point? No. So I don't trust no characters that be popping up. I have yet to see a character pop up for good. So, like, listen, everybody has to be watched. Nobody can be trusted when they pop up or whatever like that. So, I didn't trust Rakita when she popped up in the story. And then also, like, she was Quinya's ex. And, we rooting for Quinya and Ashanta. So, it's like, Ashanta is our friend. So, bitch, we don't trust you. Girl, fuck you. They say Rakita, it's like he liked that. So Quinta liked the like big women and not big women, but thick women. And then I guess Rakita was cute. They say she looked like Kiki Wyatt. Okay. Moving on to the next part of the story. I have a little note and it said I could see Desi and Ashanta being friends after the shopping scene. With the way that Desi and her personality is, I feel like even though Desi was kind of sleeping with Bullet, aka Deimos, she was really cool with Ashanta when they ran into each other, and I don't know, I just think them being friends very much from the beginning, so I liked it that. I feel like Desi, besides her sleeping with Chastity Man, she really was a girl's girl. So I know that's kind of weird at this point, but when you read the book, you'll understand. But they ran into each other because I think Ashanta was out getting something cutesy wootsy for Quenya, and then yeah, that's what happened. Okay. So like I said, in the beginning of the book, it don't be like too many questions. It'd be more like discussions about like what's happening and what's going on. The next one is a question. Okay, so switching gears a little bit, my next question is, do we think Bishop will give Desi a fair chance? So I guess at this point in the book, Desi has made it known that she likes Bishop, and Bishop does not know or whatever like that. But the question is prompted because let's do like a little recap of Desi or whatever. Desi is a stripper. She's a stripper, and she's about her business. Like she like a stripper slash prostitute a little bit slash a couple more things. But she's really about her money, and she don't got the best like reputation. And so the question prompted me to ask, like, you know, do we think Bishop would get her a fair chance just because she has like a very bad reputation or whatever like that? So no, I didn't think he was gonna get her a fair chance, but do I think he should? Yes. So yeah, that was that. Just a little backstory on Desi, and then that's also introducing our other book babe, who I told y'all was gonna be Bishop, and this is also introducing another storyline to this story. He exposed me to real, and now I hate lame. So now we have Quinta and Ashanta, and then we have Bishop and Desi. All right, so then like jumping to the next question. Do we think Ashanta should have got her number changed and fell for like Bullet's threats? So at this point in the book, Post got a little backstory with him, but he basically finds out kind of about like Ashanta's affair, and he like, if you don't end that shit, I'm gonna get Quinta locked up, and he gonna hate you, and I'm just send this nigga to jail or whatever like that. So Ashanta, not wanting this to happen, she gets her number changed, but she never tells Quenya. She never tells him, and that be the part of the stories that be killing me because wait. She get an exception. She get an exception because she didn't know who he was. So I'm not gonna tell y'all like his whole rundown, but because she didn't know who he was really like out in these streets, she didn't think that he could protect himself. So she tried to do her part on protecting him or whatever like that, and so she get her number changed on him, and then just stop talking to Queen. So do I think she shouldn't have got her number changed? I feel like she did right back in the number change because like she felt her back was against the wall. So okay, we're gonna get her past for that. Do we think Bishop and Desi robbed Deimos and Ashanta? I did. Did y'all think that? I did think that when it was like it was a girl who was at the robbery or whatever like that. I did think it was. I mean Bishop and Desi, because I was thinking like maybe Desi was trying to prove like her love to Bishop and doing that. So I did think it was them. But then, just a smidget, I didn't think it was her because, like I just said, like she's a girl's girl, and I could see her and Ashanta being friends. So I kind of was like, okay, maybe it's not her, but I was like teetering or whatever like that. But I did kind of think it was Bishop and Desi who robbed them. My next note, it says Ashanta confessing her affair humbled Deimos. Absolutely, and he needed it because he was just like thinking she was nobody, right? And I'm talking about when she confessed, it kind of got him tightened up a little bit because it was like you was walking around because you had her feeling some type of way about being skinny, you just trying to make her look unattractive and all of this thing, this, that, and the third. And it was like she still found love, she still felt an affair, so it humbled him a little bit. And then it also too, to me, made him realize like you about to lose that good thing, because it was like Ashanti was a doctor, she was paying the bills, she had believed in him, started the business, all of these great things, and then you over here cheating with the ex stripper from the hood who you taking care of. She's not giving you no money. Crazy, crazy. Oh, my next little note in the book says Bishop is definitely a book bae, and if you read the book, you know what I mean. He was given, I feel like he was book bae, but he was given a kind of sort of like a different book bae that Quinta gave. Like they both was given book baes, and they both were like very supportive of their girls, and they were very they just gave different book baes to me, but they definitely gave book bae. So yeah, I like it. I like it. Ooh, who do I like the most? Did I like Damos? I mean, did I like? Absolutely not. Didn't like Damos. Did I like Quinta more or Bishop more? I think the first read I liked the Quinta more. The second read I liked the Bishop more. Yeah. Flipping the page, and immediately my next note say Quinta is book bae too, with exclamation marks. So yes, like I said, I feel like first read around, I feel like Quinta was really like book based to me. The second read around, I feel like I appreciated Bishop a little bit more, and he was book based to me. Next question is, did y'all find it funny when Ashanti beat Damos? Oh! Yes, like that was so funny, and it was unexpected, but it was needed. But yeah, she beat his ass, sent him to the hospital, and she did that. Like she did that because he was pushing it. Like he was just such a no good person, and then manipulator, gaslighter, cheater, just everything bad. So it was like when she got her lick back, I was definitely rooting for her. Okay, so my next question was Quinta being too hard on Ashanti when she told him about the blackmailing and why she has to stop talking to him? I think he was. I think because it was like he didn't instantly forgive her at that moment. Like once she told him how everything was and what happened, he didn't instantly forgive her, and I feel like he should have, because you understand, she didn't know your backstory, she didn't know you was who you were, and she's a little green doctor. Like everybody in the story is just keep on saying like how green she is to like the hood world or whatever like that. So I felt like he should have forgave her because she just didn't know. You know what I'm saying? She just didn't know, and she wasn't a fighter. So I feel like he definitely went a little bit hard on her, and he should have forgave her at that point. Next question I had was, were you shocked to see Chastity's real baby daddy? Yes. I ain't gonna tell y'all who it was, but yeah, I was very shocked. I was very shocked. And that whole Chastity baby is bold. Bold. All caps. BOLD. Exclamation, exclamation, exclamation. Bold. Okay? So yes, I was very shocked to see who her real baby daddy was. And that was also, I don't know, I ain't gonna say that, because at this point in the book, he didn't know. My next note, when I was just talking about Chastity being bold, my next note in the book literally says Chastity is a horrible person, and she was, because it was like she was just running around running lies, and I think we had another character. I don't think she got a speaking part, so she wasn't the main character, but Chastity did something to her. And like I said, I don't want to give you guys, I don't want to give it all away. I'm actually skipping a lot of stuff because it's like I want to say something for you guys to read, and I don't want to give it all away until you guys know. And so yeah, and we're going, and I'm gonna circle back to that. I don't want to give it all away until you guys know. I'm gonna circle back to that at the end of this episode, and elaborate just a little bit more what that means. But yes, something good. Yes, Chastity was a horrible person. And then my last question was, well, not last question, second to last. Did Bishop overreact on Desi because of her history, or was it kind of understood? So I'm gonna give it to you. I'm gonna give y'all this one. So at this point, Bishop gets robbed, and Desi is doing a little street work for him, and he gets robbed. He automatically like go hard on her, choke her up, accuse her of being the one who stole from her, accuse her of like setting this up all along, and da 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 da, whatever like that. He went super hard on her, super super duper duper hard. And so my question was, did he overreact, or was it kind of understood because of the person that she was? This one, okay, because I'm trying to. If this was real life, I feel like he didn't overreact because I think people would react like that. But I do feel like it was an overreaction because he went super hard. He went super hard, and it was kind of mean. So yeah, I'm teetering on this one. I'm 50-50. Like, I kind of understand it because, sometimes when something bad happens to you, your first mind is not to act logical. So yeah, you don't really be thinking like, oh, I'm not gonna overreact or whatever like that. But he definitely went hard. He definitely went hard on her. All right. Last question of book 1 was, did you see the ending coming? No. No. So I have to really think about it because this is a reread. So sometimes when I write some of these questions, it's like I know what's coming. But no, I didn't. So it was years ago when I read the book. The ending is really good. I'm not gonna give it to you guys because it's a book 2, and like I said, I still want you guys to read the book. And if you are watching these episodes before you actually complete the book, I don't want to give it all away. But yes, so moving on to book 2, it picks up right where we left off, and it starts us off with Desi figuring out who robbed Bishop. And my question is, did we really see Desi not messing with Bishop after finding out the truth about the robbery? I thought that she would, once he forgave her, that she would forgive him. But no. She held her gun. She was like, you got me messed up. And I love that for her because it's like even though everybody didn't see her worth, she realized her worth. And she was less like, dude, you're not just about to talk to me crazy and just treat me like that. Like, either we are going to get over this or we're not, or I'm not going to deal. So her standing on business and like, I'm not forgiving you that easy. Go girl. Okay. I ain't mad at you. Alrighty. Next note was, Queen is not doing his research on Rakita is crazy with all the other precautions he has made. Okay. So, at this point, like I just told y'all, we got a couple things going on in the book. We got Bishop and Desi's storyline, and then we got Queen, Ashanti's, and then, like I said, we threw Rakita in that mix of everything or whatever like that. So like I said, I don't want to give you the end to book 1, but moving on to book 2, that's what prompted me to ask this question. Was like, is he not doing a research on her? Yes, it was crazy because it's like, here we go, you're in the streets, a lot of stuff is going on. Why are we not like doing our proper investigation on these people, right? So that's all I'm gonna say to that, and then we're just gonna move on because we got the finished book 2, and then we got book 3. So I don't want to make this super long. What was Jesse's aim for helping Ashanti? I want to say something, but I ain't gonna say it right here. I'm gonna say it at the end. I knew she had some type of aim. I just didn't know what it was at this point. But it's just like, I don't know. She was very helpful, but it was just like, it just never gave trustworthy to me. So yeah, I wasn't with that. A little note from book 2 is, it says, I love Desi's personality. Definitely my girl. Got to see more of her and her character development. I think in this book, she's turning like more positive. She's trying to get her life together. She's trying to be a different person. She, like I said, from book 1, she's already like really like a girl's girl. She's very loyal. Besides the fact that she slept with Bullet. But she's trying to get her stuff together in book 2. She's trying to get her stuff together in book 2, and I really like it. Okay. Again, This book is like we got Quinta and Ashansa, and then we got Desi and Bishop, and then like kind of it's both of them. It's both of these people. So it's a lot. Oh, okay, so I did put it in as a no. It say that I'm a. This is the part where I said I was gonna put it in at the end, but I guess since I put it right here originally, I was okay with giving it to you guys right here. So it says the end of book 1 left off. Ashansa had a plan, but book 2, she's like in Mexico and she didn't have a plan. So this kind of fits into like a little bit more of the review part to me. But since I put it right here, we'll go ahead and discuss it right here. Because I don't want to give it to y'all. But I really want to talk about this part because I would have loved the author to kind of go in a different direction with this. So in the end of book 1, Rakita kind of ran Ashansa off, and I'm not going to say how. I'll keep that away. But she kind of ran Ashansa off, but Ashansa's words was like, her words when she left was like, I got a trick for everybody, and I'm going to show people like I'm stronger than what I am, and woo woo. So that was kind of like how book 1 left off. So I'm thinking, coming into book 2, Ashansa was going to have like a plan. We was going to see her kind of develop into a stronger character, kind of on her own from the way that book 1 went. Not saying that that's not going to happen, but it just didn't go the way that I thought that it would go. And now on that part, I'll elaborate more at the end. My next question was, who really is Jessie? Because now we get a good look at Jessie. She's helping Ashansa more. She's like this super... Oh, Jessie is a woman. Jessie is a woman. She's the super boss bitch. And it's like, who is she? Who is she really? What's her aim? She's still very untrustworthy to me. So that's why I had to throw that in there. And I don't know. I didn't know... I didn't know who she was. I had no... I'm trying to think that I have like a theory of how she fed into the book, but I didn't at this point. But I do know I didn't trust her. Okay, my next question was, Quenya having a private investigator, but they didn't run the cameras at the jail the last time that he actually seen Ashansa, and then like Ashansa is missing out. That part was like a little weird to me because I feel like again, we watch Law and Order. That should have been like the first thing. So it's like you got a private investigator and he's doing a sloppy job. If they would have just ran the cameras and seen what happened to Ashansa, like they would have knew. So that is like a storyline plot hole to me. Like that one little tiny thing could have changed the course of the story, and it was just so obvious, but it didn't happen. It was like, oh. So my next little note is, okay, Chastity getting her karma in this book. She got her money stolen out the bank. She ain't got no house. She don't got no friends. So she is getting her karma for all of the secret relationships, the secret baby daddies, the mean things that she did to people. I'm not going to tell you guys too much because, like, again, I want you to read the book. But if you have read the book, then at this part, you are, like, happy. You are clapping that Chastity is getting her karma because she absolutely deserved like everything that's happening to her, and you can't feel sorry for her because she was just a bad person. So it's of course it's always good to see like the bad person get their karma. So yeah. Next question. Who is Catrice? Did y'all know who Catrice was? I did, but then I didn't. I did, but then I didn't. And I ain't gonna say. I was gonna say something, but I ain't gonna say it. Okay. What is Ashansa's plan? So I will say that Ashansa came back and she's back around, but it's like, what is her plan? I didn't know what her plan was. I feel like knowing now the way that the story ended, I didn't think that was what her plan was going to be. But yeah. So at this point in the book, we are still like moving along. We are now, I feel like, running a third story in the third plot, because now we've got Bishop and Desi, we have Quinta and Ashanta, we have the little side characters that are doing quests, Chastity and Rakita. We got them going on. Then we got Jesse. So, like I said, part of my rating of this book, or when I was like, it got too long and it got too much, like this is it. So, like, even when I'm answering these questions, one question is like, we did totally forgot about Quinta and Ashanta, then we totally forgot about Desi and Bishop. It was a lot. I feel like at the end, the author brought it together great, but it was a way to do this book without making it this much. But I think y'all gonna love it. I absolutely think y'all gonna love it. It's 3 books. You're gonna have to take your time with it. So I still think you're gonna love it or whatever. My next note, I feel like it was cute when Ashanta was calling Quinya's phone private and him just like guessing it was her. I was like, the connection, like, so she was calling him private and he was answering the phone like every time she called private, and he was just like, I know it's you and I love you and I miss you and I want you to come back, and it was like, it was so cute. But yeah, like that was just like a little note. It just had me in my little feels a little bit, you know. Now we are kind of wrapping up book 2, and at this point, Ashanta is revealed to be Catrice. Now, I'm not going to give y'all the whole backstory of Catrice and why Ashanta was Catrice and everything like that, because I feel like that's something I definitely want y'all to read if y'all are watching this before reading the book or whatever. But if you have read the book, the one thing I couldn't figure out was if she was Catrice, why her baby bump wasn't showing. I don't know. I feel like for Ashanta to pull off that character that good, I was clapping, but I don't think I would have been fooled. If I was the other characters, I don't think I would have been fooled or whatever like that. And I think Quenya, I think he kind of figured it out. I think when he was looking at her one day, he just like, she got some characteristics. Oh, and I think that's like real cute. Like that he could still like figure it out. It was her, even though like she was in disguise and she was fooling everybody else. Like she couldn't fool him because he really loves her or whatever. So that was cute. Last little things was Rakita was so clueless that she didn't realize that she had just got herself killed by telling Yolo Julissa wanted Quenya dead. You see what I'm saying? With this note, it's just like, who's these people? What's going on? What are you talking about? And I know, because we're doing questions and discussions, so it's like, I'm just trying to hit like the key elements or whatever like that. But still, like I said, it was a lot of storylines and a lot of things that's going on in this book that didn't necessarily have to be in this book. But I do feel like it made the story greater. But yeah. Did we see Jesse's backstory coming? Did you guess? Because I just said, who is Jessie? What is she? What is she doing here? What is she doing here? So did you see Jesse's backstory coming? No. Like I said, we know Jesse's backstory at the end of book 2, so you can kind of see how it ties in. But again, I don't feel it was necessary. So circling back to what I said about the Ashanta part and just thinking that she had a plan at the end of book 1, I feel like if Ashanta would have had her own plan and kind of figured out her character development a little bit differently, it wouldn't have been a need for the Jesse storyline. And the Jesse storyline made the book longer. So that's why I was like, it was too long, it wasn't needed. If Ashanta would have like somehow became what was the girl name? If Ashanta would have somehow became Catrice on her own and we cut out the Jesse storyline, I feel like this could have been just still a great book. If it wasn't needed. So at the end of book 2, did you see the end coming? I didn't. I'm not going to tell y'all again. You got to read it to figure it out. But that's always the question that I ask at the end of the book. So did you see it coming? I did not. Of course, this was one of my favorite books when I originally read it. It's still one of my favorite books. So I don't want to give it away. And even though I read this book, I will say I still didn't in the comment, and that's why I just said that. All right, moving on to book 3. We're gonna wrap this up real fast. We're gonna go through book 3 real quick because I don't want to make this super long and I don't want to get everything away. By book 3, this like almost was like a completely different story to me. We still got our book days. Now, like I said, we have a possible third book day. And that was YOLO. YOLO was given low key book bait to me in book 3. And okay, I'm gonna say something, but I'm gonna say it at the end. Because it may be a little bit more homework for me to do. But starting out book 3, Desi got a mysterious caller, and who is the mystery caller? I don't know. And then my next question was, is Jada in secret competition with YOLO over women? So in this book, like I said, now it's like we are completely different storyline. We got more characters. We got another storyline. It's just a lot going on, right? But I think at this point in the story, it had been revealed that Jada's girlfriend is YOLO's ex, and he got her pregnant. And Jada, YOLO, and Quenya are all friends. So that was another storyline coming into play that was a little crazy, a little messy, But moving on. Do we think YOLO and Riri will get together? I did think they was gonna get together. I thought it would have been cute for them to get together, but because Riri was with Jada first, and then Jada thought that YOLO was trying to get some get back on him, that getting with Riri. I seen the mess coming, and it could, and then the taboo is you can't be a homie hopper or whatever like that. So I thought it would have been cute, but was it needed or she did it? No, because it's like you can't be a homie hopper or whatever like that. Okay, so next question was YOLO wrong for leaving Poet hanging even though it was a setup? So again, we got all these characters, new names. Who is these people? I did feel he was kind of wrong. That's why I wrote this question, and I did feel like he was kind of wrong or whatever for leaving her hanging, even though it was a setup, because he didn't know it was a setup, and he didn't go because he didn't know it was a setup. He just didn't go because he was just like living his life and just like had other cares in the world, and he just left her hanging. And I'm just like, for you to have been going that hard originally, saying you liked her and whatever, it was something that happened that made him like kind of didn't like her no more, whatever. But it was like you was going hard for you to leave her hanging was kind of bogus. Even if she wasn't in trouble, when you call a guy and you like, oh, pull up, da 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 da, for him to leave you hanging, like that was bogus. So even though it was a setup, right? But she was still innocent. So let me say that. She was still innocent. She didn't really have nothing to do with it. He could have saved her technically, like if he could have went. If he would have went. Next question. Do we think Serene is going to go back to her husband, or will she choose the YN? I have to say YN. I have to throw that in there. Again, Serene is Ashanti's best friend. We do hear about her storyline as well in book 1 and book 2. I will not give it away. I do want to say some things for you guys to discover on your own. She has more of a big scene in book 3, so that's why the questions is geared that way. But I won't give it all away. So y'all gotta read the book. Did I think she was going choose the YN? I definitely thought she was gonna play around with him a little bit. I didn't know what she was gonna do with him, but he seemed very like book bait potential, because he had some moments and he was kind of like mature for his age, and I was like, he might pull her. So he was almost giving a little book bait. So it was a lot of book baits. It was a lot of great guys in this story. So that's the part that gets me. Like, I can't complain about that because it was like a lot of good book days that held your attention to make you be like, okay, I'll stay reading the book, but this one was long, okay? Okay. So I didn't think that she was gonna leave her husband for him, but I definitely thought she was gonna play around and have her little bit of fun or whatever like that. Oh no, this is a note. And it said Jada and Jesse can't be trusted. Yes. So at this point, Jada is moving weird. Jesse is moving weird in the story. And like I say, I'm not gonna give it all away. If you're reading the book, then you know. So you can agree with me. And then yeah, moving on. Who is Chaos Mysterious Caller? Who is Chaos? But I did mention the name Chaos, so like we're not gonna pretend like it just came totally out of left field. But Chaos is going to be talking just a little bit in book 3 or whatever like that. But yeah, he's added to the storyline again. Like I say, book 3 is long. I mean, no, the story is long, but book 3 is like, yeah. But I don't know who his mysterious caller was, but I did take the guess and say that I think it was probably like the same person who was calling Desi mysteriously, because somebody got to be like the puppet master behind this. And of course, you know, because we don't trust Jesse, I would just go throw it out there and say I think it was, you know, Jesse or whatever like that. Who shot YOLO? Who shot YOLO? So at first, when I wrote this question, I literally wrote the question when YOLO got shot, and I literally said, I think it was Jada, because where was Jada? But then I got to reading a little bit more, and then it was like, Jada got shot too. So they're like, who shot them? Who shot them or whatever like that? YOLO is in a hospital. Jada is in a hospital. And then now we move on to switch back gears to the other story, the other character storyline. Next question was it a bad idea for Serene to go home with Quay? And Quay is the YN that I was just talking about, and absolutely, it was a bad idea, because why you going home with this man? Why you pregnant? Why you're pregnant? But he had been very nice to her up until that point, so I can kind of see like why she was trying to, you know, kind of be nice on him. Like, I ain't gonna tell y'all everything. You gotta read the book. But yeah. Did we see Leanna's confession coming? Who is Leanna? No, we did not. Leanna, joking. So Leanna is Jada's baby mama, which is YOLO's ex-girlfriend, and we're gonna leave that right there. Gonna leave it right there, because I know this one is running a little bit long, and I definitely want to wrap it up. When YOLO really killed Jada. So at this point in the story, they both were shot, but now YOLO is at the hospital and he's doing his due diligence. No, he didn't have to do his due diligence, because when he woke up, he know who shot him. He seen who shot him. So he's just like, I'm going to kill him. But the question is, because since y'all been friends since Sandbox, are you really going to kill him? I didn't think he was gonna kill him, but it kind of came across like he had to kill him, because Jada was like very envious, and like something had to be done. And when it happened, Jada forced YOLO's hand. So it's like Jada came looking for trouble. I mean, YOLO did what he had to do or whatever. So yeah. Question. Who is Riri pregnant by? Sneaky pussy Riri. That question I just had to throw in there, because as I just mentioned before, she was talking to Jada, she was flirting with YOLO, she kind of liked YOLO, and then she like popped up pregnant, and then some stuff happened. And then I think she had like another mysterious boo, and this girl was just like all over the place or whatever like that. So it was just like, who is she pregnant by? And then it was like all her dirt was kind of undercover, because I feel like she didn't have a part in the book. So it was like when it was getting her drama, it was kind of like, oh my god. So it was like we didn't see her life developing. She was just coming with these like this heavy tea every time. So that's why I call it the sneaky pussy, because it's like, what are you doing? Who are you pregnant about? What's going on? Or whatever like that. So I thought she was pregnant about, oh, I don't want to say. I ain't gonna say. I'm sorry, y'all. I ain't gonna say it though. So read the book. Who is Desi twin brothers? I thought Chaos was gonna be the twin brother. I definitely seen that coming. Because at this point, it's just like, what are we doing? Why all these extra characters here? So when it is a lot of extra characters, and then you got questions, I just started to try to place these characters into some slots. Like, okay, you know what I'm saying? So I kind of seen that coming a little bit. And the last question is, did we see the ending coming? Did we see the ending coming? A little. No, in a way, like I said, it was a very good story. The author did a good job of twists and turns and everything like that. And then a little bit on, just because, like I just said, when we have all these extra characters lingering around and these characters coming, I try to slide them somewhere. So I kind of guessed just a teensy bit. I don't think you guys will guess, but maybe you will. I don't know. We've been a good detective so far, right? We've been really good detectives so far. So yes, kind of, sort of, but then no, or whatever. So that was the review of He Exposed Me to Real and Now I Hate Lames by Tammie. And girl, the review, I recommend you. So originally, I gave that book a 4.5. I still give it a 4.5. I took away just the extra 0.5 because, like I told y'all, I feel like the book was a tad bit too long. And now, since I have did the questions and discussions, you guys can kind of see what I mean, because it was like 15 characters. We had like 6 different storylines running. At the end, the author, she does wrap everything up, but it was like, it wasn't necessarily needed to be this story. I feel like we could have definitely had some break-off stories, and she could have created some spin-offs and some different books of just all of these characters and all of these people. I definitely feel like she could have did that. I do think, and now that I had a chance to reread the book and kind of think about it a little bit deeper, I do think that maybe she did. I haven't researched it yet, but I'm thinking maybe she did with the YOLO and Riri. I feel like when we wrapped this story, I feel like we got a great idea of Desi's and Bishop's relationship. We got a great idea of Quinya's and Ashanti's relationship. We got a good idea what Serene is doing. We got a good idea what Chastity is doing. So like our beginning, and Deimos. So like our beginning characters, we kind of know what they're doing by the time the book wraps. And then when the book wraps, those new people that we kind of added in to the end, which was Riri and YOLO, it kind of left like a little bit of a cliffhanger. So like I said, I probably will go back now and look at her books and see, did she do like a spinoff for them or whatever like that. Does it make sense? It makes sense. But for this book, He Exposed Me to Real and Now I Hate Lames, I think it was complete. It's over. It was a great book. We had some book days. We had some good drama, tea, sex. We had all of that. So, yeah, this was one of those ones. Yes. Okay. So what I'm thinking doing at this point is maybe next week doing somewhat of like a small recap of all of the books that I have reviewed up until this point, because sometimes I'll be like, oh, it's something I could have added on, or let's do comparison to books now. And I think, like you guys should have like read a good part of the books and everything now. So I'm thinking about doing something like that. I ain't gonna necessarily say it's next week, but I feel like that episode is coming soon. Yes, and then we're gonna have some more surprises, and and I'm always talking about character development, the show development, but we're gonna have some show development. So I'm really, really excited. Again, we only discuss books around here, so I'm not gonna hold you guys too much more longer. I'm just go ahead and give my closing spiel, and I'm gonna let you guys get to reading, and I'll see you next week, right? For my readers, if you want to give me your review and you want to let me know how you felt about the book and you want to read on the show, my email address is ts_tammypod@yahoo.com. If you are an author who would like your book or your poem read on the show, you can also email me at that same email. If you guys want to follow me on IG, because I be lit. Joking, but I'm serious. My IG is topshelf_Tammie. My TikTok, which I'm adding some really great things to that page, is Top Shelf Tammie. And you guys can reach me there. For my people that are just watching on YouTube, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and turn your notifications on for when I post a video. Videos go live every Thursday. And that's it, readers, my lovelies. I'll see you guys next week. Bye.